another video. Before we get started, please do click that subscribe button and that notification bell, because you have to do that now. For some reason YouTube keeps fucking with the system, but oh well. If you could do that, that'd be awesome. This video is going to be, where are you going? This video is going to be on my crested gecko. So I introduced you to a few of my pets. I have kind of weird pets. I have a few bugs as pets. Two of them unfortunately have now died, which is a little bit sad. So my two Malaysian blue mantids, I don't know the proper, I think it's mantids. Forgive me if I'm fucking this up. But I am getting a, what is he? He is a leatherback zero bearded dragon in a couple of weeks' time for my 25th birthday. So I thought that I would do a care video on Fred for you. A lot of you guys, after my initial kind of pet introduction video, had a lot of questions on Fred, and you guys thought it was really cool that I have a different side of me. I think maybe because I do the modelling and it's all a bit prissy, and everyone kind of thinks that, most girls especially, I feel like people just assume that they only like cute and fluffy things, whereas I think these guys are amazing. And I just feel like reptiles are a little bit misunderstood, and they're not all slimy and they're not gross, and they're really cute. They make great pets, especially these guys for your first reptile. And I just thought I'd start a little bit of a pet series with some information, some care videos, what not to do, mistakes I've made myself as a first time reptile owner, because he is and was my first reptile. Obviously I had my bearded dragon coming and I've got the tank set up for that, and I know a lot about these guys, but I've only ever had him, and he was it wasn't a purchase on a whim. Like, I did some research a little bit, but it was kind of like I saw him in the pet shop and thought, oh my god, I want one, then did the research and then went, yeah, I'm going to do it. So it wasn't something that I particularly knew about before or anything like that. So I'm going to start off with kind of where they're from, what they look like, and the kind of things that they eat. So this is Fred. He is a male. So in the wild, these guys are generally found around New Caledonia, which I believe is kind of like a little group of like French islands. So the nights can get quite cold and the daytimes can get a little bit warm. Here in the UK, we don't get too hot or too cold, so the kind of room temperature is perfect for these guys. They can live, you expect them to live at least 15 years. Some guys can go on to about 20. So if you get this pet at 20, you may well have it at 40. Who knows? This is not something to be kind of going into going, oh, I fancy that and getting bored of it. These guys aren't like hamsters. They last a long time. They live for a long time. They don't like to be kept together, generally speaking. Guys will, males will fight each other to the death and get horrific injuries. Females equally can be quite territorial. Unless you have like a massive tank, I really wouldn't recommend it. My phone is buzzing. As for sort of diet and things like that, there are loads and loads of options for crested gecko diets. I have, what then, bud? He's going to climb into my hair and I'm going to lose him. So I have a couple to show you here. You've got Repashy Superfoods. There's a grubs and fruit one. This is insect and fruit gecko diet. This is a complete feed. They also do the Repashy Superfoods Crested Gecko complete feed. So these are slightly different. You've got grubs and fruit one. You've got the standard one. I think this is a Pangea fruit mix complete banana and apricot gecko food. Where are you going, bud? He is going to chill in my air. That's fine, as long as he doesn't shit in there, which he's likely to. And these guys have a bit of a tendency to poo on you. It's not that bad, to be honest, but I'm so used to it, but I'm just praying that he doesn't do it in my hair. I normally use the Repashy because this is what he loves. He's always been completely and utterly uninterested in live food. Where are you going? So what I do is I feed him in a little bowl. I put a couple of like small scoops of these. You just mix this powder with water. It's really, really simple. I do this every other day. You want to mix it into like not a really thick paste, like kind of something that can be easily scooped out with their tongue. So you do that every other day, and I tend to mix it up. I like to get the ones that are the complete foods. because they need calcium. It has all their vitamins in, particularly as he's not a particularly good live feeder. In fact, he just will not do it. He's not interested. I've tried little crickets, I've tried dubia roaches, I've tried mealworms. He's just not interested. He's a lazy little shit, to be honest. I love him to bits, but you lazy. You so lazy. So, yeah, he's just not interested. But you can feed kind of fresh mushed up fruit and things, or make your own kind of stuff like this, but I would make sure you're supplementing with calcium and D3 and all that kind of stuff. As for his tank, I will insert some footage of the inside of his tank. I cannot remember the tank that I actually have. Oh my god. Did you see that? He shat on me.
You have? Oh my god.
Like lulled me into a false sense of security. And here I was, getting you out for a play when my auntie was over the other day. And I was like, oh, he hasn't pooed on me in such a long time. He must really like you because he's done it on you. You're a little shit. Honestly, honestly, what are we going to do? Ugh. I mean, I'm not someone that's generally grossed out by like really disgusting things. But pretty fucking gross, bud. As I was saying before, I got shat on, but I had a towel, you see. I knew this was going to happen because I was going to be sat here for a little while. And these guys are technically nocturnal, so I've kind of woken him up to show you, which is a little bit mean, but also I haven't seen him for a few days. I haven't been handling him for a few days purely because I've just been working loads. So I've had a couple of days at home now, and I had today to get him out, check that he's doing all right, make sure he's not like dehydrated or anything, and have a really good look at him. So yes, I would go with the Pangea or the Rapashi. Those are really, really good foods, and I would go with the complete diet unless you are going to supplement or and dust your crickets and stuff like that. If your gecko takes them, as I said, he's really just not interested. I've tried everything. I've tried putting him in a sort of like a Tupperware box with just the crickets so that he can find it. I've tried putting them in the tank and him hunting them, you know, at night time when he would naturally be awake anyway. He just doesn't care. So yeah, I feed the Rapashi or a mix of the different ones every other day. And what you will need to do also, I have a spray bottle, which is a little bit annoying to be honest, but you can get misters for like, I think £7, Pets at Home, reptile shops, all sorts. Amazon would do these. And you really want to kind of drench it in the morning, and then I give it a really good kind of mist down, spray down in the evening. I don't have a water bowl in his tank. These guys don't see standing water particularly well, and you wouldn't want to put anything sort of a deep dish or anything like that because they could drown themselves. I just personally don't do that, and I wouldn't bother because these guys will drink the spray off of the plants and things that you have in there, and it's really kind of unnecessary, and also it's something else for you to clean out. I have him in a tank, I can't remember which one, but as I said, I will leave it below for you so that you can have a little look. I would say that this is plenty, he will be fine, he doesn't need to move. The only thing I would say is that when I got it, there is enough height and width, but these guys spend most of their time up in the trees. He's a little bit of an odd case. I got him when he was a juvenile, so maybe like, I don't know, 5-6 months old, so I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's about 3. And the tanks they kept them in at the pet shop weren't particularly high, so maybe that's just what he's been used to, but he spends an awful lot of time on the ground. I mean, every gecko is going to be different, but they are arboreal, which means they are tree dwelling. So I would say a tank with a sort of that was more vertical is going to be much better for these guys. You can wrap vines in there. They like it kind of humid. This helps them shed as well. It doesn't need to be like super wet, but obviously if you're spraying in the morning when you get up, you're giving that nice kind of like humidity cycle so that it can kind of dry out a little bit, and then give him a spray at night time as well. And that seems to keep him very happy. I don't think he's going to get any bigger. As far as substrate goes, I have been using Eco Earth on the bottom, and then I have a ton of like orchid bark and things on the top. I have some fake plants and things along the side. These guys really like to hide, they really like to climb, so make sure that you've got lots of vines, lots of foliage. I mean, they do really well in a planted tank if you wanted to do that. But yeah, that's kind of it really. I don't really know what else to say about them. I would say these are pretty good for even children. So Sienna is my best friend's daughter. She's not started school yet, she's 4, and she absolutely, that was creepy, she absolutely adores Fred. Generally speaking, these guys are very docile, they're really chilled out. They can be fast because, well, just because they can be. They're really lovely pets, they last for a long time. I would say maybe not with like super young kids, but they're really gentle. I think he's only bitten me once because I startled him. That was my fault, and I mean, not ever since then. And if I hadn't seen him do it, I would not have noticed that that is what had happened. I think I kind of like, I came from above and I like grabbed him, which I try not to do. You'll notice that a lot of reptile tanks have the opening on the front, and that is because obviously in the wild these guys will be eaten by birds and things, so coming down from the top is going to freak them out. So try really not to do that. Kind of, I would see if you can get your hands kind of under the side, scoot them up, taking the weight of their stomach kind of area, and do it that way. Don't ever kind of like just grab them. Obviously you've got to be careful with their tails. They do use these for balance, as you can say. It's fine to touch them and stuff, but obviously be gentle. I will be really surprised if he keeps his tail for the whole of his life. It's quite rare for that to happen. These guys do use it as a form of kind of protection, so really fucking pointless to me, because they can only do it once. This is one of the only kinds of geckos that you will find that when it drops its tail, it can't grow it back. So it takes them like a week or so to kind of figure out their balance and stuff, because obviously this is something that they use to grip onto things. You can see anytime I touch it, he's sort of gripping on. And they tend to do that as like a stress reaction, or in the wild they would drop the tail continues to wiggle because it's still got nerve endings, and that gives them a chance to escape. So quite funky. These guys also don't have any eyelids, so you will often see them licking their eyeballs, which is a little bit disgusting but also kind of funky, and I just, yeah, I think he's adorable. So he's a crested gecko. What else is there to talk about really? I don't really know. If there's anything that I haven't covered that you'd like a proper video on, then I would leave that below. Obviously, if you are thinking about getting any kind of pet, it's a commitment, and especially if you are looking at things like birds, reptiles, anything that's kind of a little bit, I don't know, unusual, that is not your kind of standard cat or dog or something like that. You really need to make sure that also that you're prepared if anything goes wrong, because I feel like it kind of saddens me that people get reptiles and things from like pet shops and stuff, and I personally would always try and go to a breeder now. So I got my bearded dragon from an actual proper reptile shop that I know that they are in contact with really good breeders. They know when they've hatched, you know, this a whole different kind of thing rather than one of these big kind of pet organisations. So I regret that, and I would always say find like a private breeder or a really decent reptile shop that can also advise you on like what to keep them on and if you have any problems, but also be prepared for vet bills if anything goes wrong, because it's kind of sad to get something like this and think, oh, they're only little, or I don't know what to do with them, or, you know, your vet doesn't really know what they're doing, because these guys are kind of, they're an exotic animal, so you really need to be taking them to a vet that knows their stuff. So like a specific exotic animal vet, or like a reptile specific kind of vet, because they're tricky to deal with. They're not from here, they're not something that you see necessarily every day, although these guys are getting much more popular. And actually I believe that bearded dragons in the UK are now the 3rd most owned pet, I think. I'm not entirely sure. So I'll insert some clips of Fred's enclosure. If I had my time again, I would go taller personally. But as you can see, you come a little bit closer. He's not going to pill at me now, so I'm safe. As you can see, he's a happy little boy. He's just looking away from the camera. Are you just going to be an arsehole now? But you can see he's got a beautiful pattern. He is a harlequin, I believe. He is a blonde harlequin, and he still has his tail. So there he is. He is really gorgeous, and you can see his little like sticky feet as well. Another thing to mention is just make sure that you are a little bit careful when you're handling these guys. I mean, I'm very confident with him. I know that he doesn't zoom off anywhere, but these guys do jump. They jump because that's what they do. It's not a big deal, but just be aware. So if you are holding them and you're not sat down, you need to make sure you've got a really good grip of them and you're keeping an eye on them, because obviously falling from any kind of a height could potentially hurt your gecko, so just be really careful of that. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if this is something that you'd like me to do more of, because I do have a passion for like weird animals, as you can see, particularly my scaly friends, I cannot wait to get my bearded dragon, and I'm sure that you guys would really like a video perhaps on that when he finally arrives in a couple of weeks. I'm so excited. So yeah, if this is something that you're interested in, then do give the video a thumbs up to let me know that you like it, and leave me a comment down below telling me if you have any weird pets. And if you don't have any weird pets, just tell me what pets that you have and tell me what their names are and how old they are. I think that would be really cute. So yeah, I bought the Viv Exotic 4-foot tank for Gary, that is his name, the bearded dragon. I custom built the interior, so if you'd like a video on how I did it, what it looks like, how long it took me, and all the details of that, then do let me know as well. So if you've enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up. Me and Fred would really appreciate it. And yeah, I love you lots, and we will see you in the next one. Okay, bye. Where are you going?
You're so cute. You're so cute. Say hi.